Okay, so we're starting this deep dive today somewhere really unexpected. It's this strange mix of raw nature and, well, serious international crime. Our sources paint this incredibly intense picture. Right at the start, you've got moonlight, this giant thorn bush in Africa, and a scorpion, a big black scorpion finishing its meal.
Yeah, it's quite the image. Very primal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then, bam, this helicopter just appears out of the night, clumsy, fast. And that sound, that machine, it basically signs the scorpion's death warrant. Nature meets organized crime.
And that helicopter, it's more than just technology intruding. It's a signal, really. A signal of a huge problem for the global diamond trade. We're going to be tracking a major international smuggling pipeline here. It's costing the British Commonwealth diamond mines, especially the ones Africa International owns, something like upwards of £2 million every year through IDE.
Okay, hold on. IDE, let's just quickly define that for everyone listening. What exactly is IDE?
Right, good point. IDE stands for illicit diamond exportation. That's the key thing the authorities are trying to shut down. It's not just, simple theft. It's systematic, organized, funneling uncut diamonds away from the official trade channels straight onto the black market.
Which obviously hits the legitimate mines hard. Revenue loss, messing with prices.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really understand this whole operation. How does it work? Mapping it from its very beginnings in Africa all the way to the end user in America.
Right, and that African origin point, it's incredibly specific in the sources. A single huge thorn bush, like the size of a house. It's about 40 miles south of Kisudugu in French Guinea, right where it meets Liberia and Sierra Leone, very close to the Safadu diamond mines.
Yeah, basically a hidden drop zone right next door to the source. And the logistics there, they're all about the time of day and the heat, actually. The smuggler waiting. He's an Afrikaner. He operates in darkness because, well, the source, interestingly notes, the sun is the scorpion's deadliest enemy. So darkness is cover.
He's got a motorbike stashed nearby.
A battered one, yeah. And he's there to receive this packet of raw diamonds. Often damp, apparently, with the smuggler's sweat. It's delivered by a German pilot, a Reichsdeutscher, the source says, an ex-Luftwaffe pilot, in that helicopter at night.
Wow. So straight away, you see this international connection right at the very start. German pilot, Afrikaner smuggler.
Absolutely. And even out there in the middle of nowhere, the pressure's already building. The smuggler, he's complaining, security's tightened up. Because the Diamond Corporation hired this ex-MI5 chief, Silito.
Ah, so bringing in the heavy hitters.
Right. And that means punishments have doubled if they get caught, which leads directly to money talk. He's demanding an extra 20% cut from the people running the show, who at this point are just known as ABC.
An extra 20%. That's quite a hike. What does that tell us?
It tells you how crucial that African end is. They'd rather pay up, absorb that cost, than risk disrupting the supply chain right at the source. Finding another reliable link there, probably incredibly difficult. That part of the operation seems almost irreplaceable.
Which brings us back to the diamonds themselves. Why? Why are these specific stones worth all this risk, this complex organization?
Well, you have to remember M's lesson to Bond. It's quite fundamental in the source material. He shows Bond the difference between a real fine blue-white diamond and, just a piece of quartz.
Calling the quartz just a lifeless chunk of matter.
Exactly. But the diamond, that inspires passion through the centuries. It's got this allure.
So it's not just about the money, the market value.
No, there's something more. Almost a psychological power, maybe even, as the source hints, a kind of divine authority. This intense passion it inspires. That's what fuels the risk. And it explains why they need such tight organization, such police protection later on. The whole criminal structure is built on the myth of the diamond's permanence.
Which contrasts sharply with how disposable the people involved are.
Precisely. The eternal stone versus the fleeting human lives caught up in trafficking it.
Okay, so the authorities eventually figure out that just arresting these individual smugglers, these Afrikaners, isn't going to stop the £2 million drain. The strategy had to change. They started thinking about following the diamonds themselves. The presumed route was Africa, then London, then out to America, the biggest market.
Yeah, they needed to get to the head of the snake, basically, not just keep cutting off bits of the tail. Following the stones lets you map the whole network, the whole hierarchy. Arresting the small fry, that just causes temporary problems for the smugglers. It doesn't dismantle the pipeline.
And this is where the undercover operation really kicks in. The original courier, Peter Franks, he was supposed to take a batch to the U.S. The payment was $5,000, but only on delivery. Bond steps in, takes Frank's place, and his first contact is in London. Tiffany Case. Case, an American woman working out of the Trafalgar Palace Hotel.
And she's described quite vividly, isn't she? Sinful mouth, but these level, interesting gray eyes. Chatoyant, the source calls them.
Yes, striking description. And she's getting her orders over the phone from this mysterious ABC.
And look at the smuggling method here. It's clever because it's so mundane. The diamonds, maybe 100,000 pounds worth, are hidden inside ordinary Dunlop 65 golf balls.
Just regular golf balls.
Yep, tucked into a golf bag. Ready for the BOAC Monarch flight to New York, it's low-tech camouflage for a high-value item, designed to fool customs looking for sophisticated hiding places.
Okay, so the package makes it across the Atlantic. Now we're looking at the receiving end, the Spangled Mob.
That's the organization, run by two brothers, Serafimo and Jack Spang, top-tier American organized crime. Their HQ is the Tiara Hotel in Las Vegas. And importantly, the Tiara also houses the offices for their London front company, the House of Diamonds, for, tax reasons and a veneer of legitimacy.
And they're into more than just diamonds, right?
Oh, yes. Narcotics, organized prostitution. Their New York side is run by a guy called Michael Shady Tree. They're diversified, let's say.
And the source emphasizes something crucial here. They have excellent protection. State government, federal government, police.
That's huge. That level of protection changes everything about how they operate. They don't need to be constantly looking over their shoulder in the same way. It means they can focus less on pure concealment and more on profit, on projecting power and confidence. They're not exactly hiding from the law. They're operating alongside it almost.
You see that confidence when Bond lands in New York. The customs guy gets sidetracked talking about golf, doesn't even check the bag properly, and just waves him through. Bond gets picked up, taken to meet this Shady Tree, described as red-haired, hunchbacked, with these unnerving, motionless China eyes.
And Shady Tree's methods immediately show you how sophisticated their financial setup is. That $5,000 payment for Bond, the courier, it's not just cash in an envelope. No, it gets laundered through a fixed horse race up at Saratoga Springs.
Ah, the gambling cover.
Exactly. Bond is told he needs to bet $1,000 on a specific horse in the perpetuity stakes, and he'll win his $5,000 payment.
Wait, why bother with all that? Fixing a race just to pay a courier $5,000? Seems like a lot of effort when they could just hand over the cash.
Ah, but it's about insulation. Security. If the courier gets caught later, where did the $5,000 come from? Oh, he won it at the track. Plausible deniability. It disconnects the payment from the Spangled Mob's operational funds from their actual businesses. It keeps the courier isolated if things go wrong. Smart in a criminal sort of way.
And the fix itself, it's not small time. They're running a ringer horse called Pick-a-Pepper, but under the name Shy Smile. The listed owner is P. Pissarro, lame brain, some former dope dealer. They're apparently aiming to make $50,000 just from this one fixed race.
And it's at Saratoga that Bond connects with a key ally, Felix Leiter, the Pinkerton detective. We know Leiter's been through a lot, already lost an arm, a leg in previous encounters. But he's sharp, and he's also investigating the Spangled Mob's race fixing.
So Leiter's onto their game too. Does he try to stop it?
He does more than that. He arranges a double cross. Leiter blackmails the jockey, Tingling Bell. Instead of winning the race on the ringer, Bell is told to ride foul, deliberately get himself disqualified. It saves Bell's career. He avoids exposure for riding a ringer, but it ruins the Spang's $50,000 payday.
Ooh, that's going to cause problems. Where's the payoff for this double cross supposed to happen?
For Bell, just $2,000. And the meeting place is? Well, it's not glamorous. The Acme Mud and Sulfur Baths.
Okay, so the action shifts to Vegas, the Tiara Hotel, the Spang's home turf. And the description of the hotel itself is fascinating.
Yeah, the Gilded Mousetrap School of Architecture. That's not just a funny line.
No, it's functional design, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to walk past all the slot machines, all the gaming tables, just to get anywhere. It's designed to make you gamble.
Compulsive architecture.
Internal security.
State-of-the-art for the time. Holes in the ceilings everywhere. For TV cameras on moving dollies. Constant spot checks on dealers, on players. The source says it's wired for everything except smell.
Total surveillance. Gives you a sense of their control.
And when surveillance isn't enough, or when discipline needs enforcing, that's when the violence comes in. Explicitly. Enter Winton Kid. The Spang's top enforcers, their top torpedoes, noted for their sadism.
And there's that weird detail about Wint having a wart on his thumb. Someone remarks he'll regret not getting rid of it one day. A bit of foreshadowing, maybe.
Perhaps. But Winton Kid, they're more than just muscle. They specialize in making examples. in terror. We see exactly what that means after the Saratoga race fix fails. They find Tingling Bell, the jockey, at that mud bath place.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They interrogate him, figure out what happened, and then, while it's brutal, they torture him by pouring a bucket of steaming hot mud over his face.
God, that's horrific. Just pouring mud.
Steaming dark brown mud, the source specifies. Their message is chillingly clear. We don't like mistakes.
So this isn't just about eliminating someone who crossed them. It's performance cruelty, designed to send a message.
Absolutely. Spectacular violence. It ensures everyone else in their network knows the price of failure or betrayal. It reinforces the Spang's absolute control. And Bond sees this, understands it. He realizes this isn't just standard cops and robbers. The mud bath incident shows a nasty mind, something personally cruel and repellent. That's when he decides he's truly taken against the brothers Spang.
That inevitable confrontation escalates out in the desert near Vegas. There's a high-speed chase. Bond's Pinkerton contact, Ernie Curio, gets shot. Bond and Tiffany are then captured, taken to Spectreville. Spang's private ghost town, basically a ranch, and Bond gets worked over pretty badly.
Yeah, a Brooklyn stomping, the source calls it, with football boots. Serious violence.
But then Tiffany Case steps up, unexpectedly maybe.
She helps Bond escape.
She does. It's her moment of turning, really. She helps him get away on this old railroad handcar, and they end up using it to flee this private train, the Cannonball, which is actually being driven by Serafimo Spang himself.
Serafimo driving his own train.
Trying to run them down. But he ends up crashing it, dies in the wreck. So that takes care of one Spang brother and the main U.S. operational end.
Okay, Serafimo's gone. The U.S. side is in chaos. But the brain behind it all, the London controller, ABC, he's still out there. The pipeline isn't fully shut down yet.
Exactly. You have to get ABC to truly break the chain. And the source finally reveals who ABC is. It's the other brother, Jack Spang. He was operating in London under the alias Rufus Beesay. He ran the House of Diamonds, tested Bond with those fake diamond names like the Yellow Premier.
So Jack Spang was ABC all along. How did they finally get him? Does Bond go back to London?
No, it comes full circle. Bond is flown back to Africa, right back to that giant thorn bush where it all started. He deals with the replacement African smuggler first, kills him, and then he waits.
For Jack Spang.
For Jack Spang, a.k.a. ABC, who arrives, just like the German pilot did, by helicopter.
And Bond.
There happens to be some heavy weaponry nearby, a Bofors anti-aircraft gun. Bond uses it, takes down the helicopter, takes down Jack Spang.
Wow. Definitive end.
The end of the pipeline. The source notes the cost. 5 gangsters dead by the end of it all. Bond reflects it wasn't because he enjoyed it, but because somebody had to. The massive illicit diamond flow is stopped.
So we've traced this whole thing, from a scorpion under a bush in Africa, all the way through London, Saratoga, the high-tech surveillance and brutal violence of Vegas. It's an operation built on the strange allure of diamonds, but fueled by very dirty money, protection rackets, race fixing, and sheer terror, all connected.
And if you think about the core theme, there's that stark contrast again. The diamonds themselves, they're described as indestructible, as permanent as death. But the vast criminal network built around them, actually quite fragile, totally dependent on these very disposable human lives.
It's been quite the journey mapping this out. You really see the mechanics, the laundering, the need for political cover, the strategic use of extreme violence.
Yeah, and it leaves you with a pretty stark question, doesn't it? The story strongly suggests that for this kind of deeply embedded, protected, organized crime, the usual methods, just arresting the foot soldiers, didn't work. It took direct, decisive action to actually sever the whole thing. So what does that imply about power and crime when the only effective response seems to be, as the source puts it, the finality of Smith & Wesson? Something for you to think about.